Wind today, high near 66 degrees. Right now, we've got sun along the lakefront, about 57 degrees. Partly cloudy skies near O'Hare, 56 degrees. Clear, though, in our western suburbs. Clear in Aurora, 53 degrees. 7:51, time for Marketplace.
The U.S. economy added a mere 22,000 jobs in August.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Progressive. Progressive Commercial Insurance offers personalized rates and customizable coverages for your business vehicles. More at progressivecommercial.com.
From Marketplace, I'm Sabri Benishore in for David Brancaccio. The August jobs report came out just a few minutes ago. We learned the unemployment rate crept up to 4.3%, highest since 2021. Julia Coronado is here to walk us through it all. She's founder and president of Macro Policy Perspective. So glad to have you with us, Julia. First off, the economy basically hasn't added many jobs at all since April, and the engines of job creation, like healthcare jobs, for example, that's coming in below average. What does this say about the economy right now?
Well, I think we are seeing an economy that's in a very delicate state, very vulnerable state. We're seeing the impacts of the policies that have been keeping businesses on the sidelines. So immigration policy is contributing to job losses in construction. The trade war is contributing to job losses in manufacturing, and the budget cuts are hurting hiring by healthcare and state and local government. So really there is not a single area that I can point to of strength in this report.
There were 385,000 more people who are long-term unemployed now than a year ago. Is that normal?
Well, it's another sign of a softening labor market. So we aren't seeing really broad-based job losses yet, but those people who do lose their jobs are having a harder time finding another one. So that's exactly what we're seeing in that number, that people who lose their jobs, it will take several more months than before to find another one.
Julia Coronado, founder of Macro Policy Perspectives, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Remember no taxes on tips? It was a campaign promise, and then it made its way into the GOP's tax and spending law. Well, we now know, mostly, which jobs this would apply to. The Treasury Department released a list of them. The deduction is only supposed to go to people in jobs that traditionally got tips before the law passed. So a lot of jobs you would expect are on there. But as Marketplace's Kimberly Adams reports, so are a few surprises.
Waiters, taxi drivers, and hairstylists are among the 68 occupations on the list. Many of them already track their tips as part of their wages. But what about for plumbers and electricians? Alex Morishanu is with the Tax Foundation.
The IRS has criteria for what counts as a tip generally, but for some of these occupations, there will need to be more guidance on how eligibility will work.
Digital content creators, also on the list. Is getting a reward or a gift during a live stream a tip? Even if folks are eligible, according to Joseph Rosenberg at the Urban Brookings Tax Policy Center,
our estimates are that, roughly about 3% of taxpayers are likely to benefit from that deduction.
Most workers take the standard deduction anyway, so no tax on tips won't exactly translate into a big difference come tax time. In Washington, I'm Kimberly Adams for Marketplace.
All right, let's do the numbers. Dow futures are down 0.1%, 45 points. The S&P futures are up 0.2%. NASDAQ futures up 0.7%. And the yield on the 10-year Treasury tanked on that jobs report. It's at 4.1%.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Schwab. Schwab offers investors choices like full-service wealth management, self-directed investing options, and trading on Think or Swim. More at schwab.com. And by Avalara, providing businesses with cloud-based tools and managed services for property tax compliance. From filing returns to tracking assessments, Avalara can help. Learn more at avalara.com/propertytax.
Climate change is estimated to cost trillions globally, and Marketplace's Amy Scott with our How We Survive team has been reporting on the ways climate change is already showing up in the economy. She joins us. Hi, Amy.
Good morning.
How is climate change showing up in our economy?
Well, of course, there's the direct cost of disaster, as anyone who has experienced recently the flooding in Texas or New Jersey or, the devastating wildfires in Southern California knows. Recovery is very expensive. The Trump administration has actually stopped tracking extreme weather events that cause more than $1 billion in damage. But last year, there were 27 such events, including drought, wildfires, winter storms, tropical cyclones. And the administration has also cut federal funding for climate mitigation, which is shown to actually save money in the long run. It is cheaper to prevent damage than to repair it later.
So there's the cost of, fixing all the stuff that climate change related storms break, but then there've got to be indirect costs. And I'm thinking of insurance, which has been rising. Has that stabilized at all?
Yeah, so unfortunately, premiums are expected to keep rising, on average 8% this year for homeowner insurance policies. That's according to Insurify. And that's after a 20% increase the past 2 years. And of course, some places will see much higher increases, like California is projected to see more than 20% increases. And as I'm sure you know, Sabri, this isn't just from climate disasters, but also the higher building costs we've been seeing because of inflation and now tariffs and just more people living in harm's way. And experts say that is going to increasingly show up in the housing market as whole neighborhoods just get harder and more expensive to insure.
Yeah. Speaking of inflation, does climate change play a role in other kinds of inflation? I'm thinking food.
Yep, you've probably noticed higher coffee prices or chocolate prices. Oranges have gone up in price, and some of that is attributed to climate change because of the effects of warming temperatures or drought or flooding or storms on these crops. The Potsdam Institute for Climate Impact Studies and the European Central Bank recently found that climate change could increase food inflation overall by more than 3 percentage points per year, and that would lead to higher inflation as well of more than 1% per year by 2035. And all this is making some staples in people's diets seem more like luxuries. The upcoming season of our podcast, How We Survive, is actually all about the future of food, and we'll be looking at some solutions. That lunch is in October.
I will be looking forward to hearing it. All right, Marketplaces, Amy Scott, thank you so much.
Thanks, Sabri.
This is the Marketplace Morning Report from APM, American Public Media.
7:59 on 91.5 WBEZ. You can tune in for a wrap-up of today's business news on Marketplace here at 4:30 this afternoon on 91.5 and on the WBEZ app. Coming up in the next hour, Chicago gearing up for a busy weekend of events. But event planners are keeping an eye on the looming possibility that immigration raids will happen or that the National Guard could arrive. Also, leaders of a Chicago suburb that houses federal immigration processing centers say they were told that the Trump administration's promised immigration enforcement presence will run for about 6 weeks. Also, renewed interest in a cold case has led to divers finding over 90 cars in the Chicago River. All this and more coming up in the next hour on 91.5 WBEZ.
Broadcasting from Chicago's Navy Pier. This is WBEZ HD Chicago, 91.5 FM. WBEQ